Hey, good evening and welcome to Outside the Box. I am Kate of Guy, your host for the evening, along with co-host Tony Z. How are you, Tony?
Not too bad, Kate. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, it's been quite a day. A lot of stuff revealed. Much to discuss, but we'll catch up on that when I have a bit more information. But let's just say it's all good, and we were right, and this game's almost over. Does that work for you all? Get your heart in the right place, you'll be fine. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I need to say. And, anyway, so I'm waiting for Kevin Anna to call in. I gave him the number, and I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to call in right away at the top of the hour or whatever, but anyway, we are going to be hopefully joined by Kevin Anna at some point, and via telephone from out west. And that'll be awesome. So we got, a lot of the planet covered. I'm also waiting to hear from Santo to see if he's going to be calling in. And so I should probably let him know, eh? We're on the air. Coming? There we go. Anyway, so, how's your day been, Tony?
Yeah, not too bad. Been juggling paperwork, doing loads of different documents. Been getting on with the website, doing a few things down there, documents and all sorts of things. But yeah, it's been okay. It's been quiet.
It's been quiet, eh? Yeah, well, there's an interesting, more than interesting show that everyone's going to need to tune into, and I will be sharing that link at some point through the course of the evening. For people to go and download. I would ask if you do want to chat, that we have a chat room. It's freedomreigns.us, and all you have to do is go to Freedom Reigns, and the chat button is right there, and we'd love to have you there. I'm just going to sign in now and go, hey, and we're in the room. Yep, there we are. So we'd love to have you join us, and for those that want, you can Skype in via the Blog Talk. We'd love to hear from you, and you can also call in at the landline, area code 714. 868-0749. 714-868-0749. Yeah, so it's just been a hodgepodge of a day. I think I've spent more time on the air today than I've spent off it, That's a good thing. I kind of enjoy that. We had a good morning this morning, Tony, on awakeradio.co.uk. That was a lot of fun truth, and I want to cover some of that tonight. Are you in for that or what?
Yeah, totally. Bring it on.
Yeah, thought you might be. It's that truth thing we kind of really get off on. But I'm trying to locate a couple of things for Santo here. Someone that had contacted me with regards to some information that, as far as meditation with the tongue to the roof of the mouth and whatever, a lot further detail that when I posted it to Santo, it was definitely something of interest for him. So I'm really hoping that he can jump in the show tonight here. And, that would be awesome. Anyway, promo's out. So, guys, I'd love for you to, call in. And let's talk about what's on your mind as well, because that's what the show's all about. And, so I'm getting tagged on Skype again, too. And, by the way, just a little update for everybody else. There were a number of people that, I got hacked. My Skype got hacked over the weekend. And there were a number of people that had been compromised, barely. What I did was I ended up, as soon as I got my account back, I went through and blocked any further contact through the using my Skype, and I have since re-added all those that were needing to be re-added. The hacker actually unleashed all my my blocked contacts, so I had to go back down the list and go block. I lost count of the number of generals that have scoped out my Skype. I don't know about you if you ever get generals hitting on you, but I do. I get lots of them. By generals, I'm not talking about real ones. I'm talking about, guys pretending to be, I'm a general, love me. No, thanks, get lost. Anyway, I find it quite humorous. I generally get about 2 or 3 of those a week, so I just block them, report them, and I remove from contacts. But anyway, enough of that. Just wanted to let people know that my Skype is back up and is working just fine. So don't worry, all brand new passwords and well, hey, everything's hackable, but let's just say I made it a bit more difficult. And I just got tagged by yes, absolutely, Santa. You can come in on the second hour, not a problem. So I think what we'll do, because I have he said, or better now. He's with Johnny Guzman. No problem. Whatever works. Whatever works, Santo. Whatever works for you. Done. Anyway, so we'll either hear from Santo in the first hour, as in now, or the second hour, as in later. So that's all good. Anyway, I did want to touch on this again because I think it's very pertinent, and I know that Patrice is tuning in, and I need her to know that she is making a difference and that I am getting the word out. The memo has been received. And this will probably be the third or fourth time that I've touched on this particular subject with regards to, being dead. Actually, I've got a document. I had written a couple of things to add to it, and this is what I was looking for. And thank you, Cynthia, for putting this together and sending it over to me. She compiled what I had put together, along with what Patrice had sent me in an email with regard to land and title stuff. And I'm not even sure if, I know Patrice knows exactly what happened, and I know there are a lot of people that are starting to catch on, but here's a couple of things that I do want to go over, and I wish I'd opened this morning, because I had posted this in Skype a few days back, and had saved it and given it to Cynthia, and she compiled it into a document for me, so here it is. Anyway, so four little steps here that you need to be really aware of. Okay, mort gage equals death pledge. French, mort gage, equals, it's a claim of death. So, you're dead. Savvy? All right. 2, a dead man or woman in fiction cannot own or claim anything. Savvy? You all getting that? Yeah? I haven't seen too many people popping out of the graveyard going looking for a new house, going in on those, what do they call those, open house things. Nope, not going to happen. 3, any, and I do mean any, property that has a mort gage attached to it is abandoned. Got it? Because there's nothing living there. There's no one living there. The mort gage is a fictional piece of paper that you have rendered yourself dead on. That's why you're considered a tenant. So basically, you're a zombie, walking dead, walking in and around a house that you think is yours, but it's not. You're actually, with your status the way it is, you're effectively renting it and paying interest on the rent. Oh, and you're paying for all the upkeep for the bank as well, and you're paying for all the lawn maintenance and everything else. So you don't own anything, and I will tell you that from experience. Gosh darn it. 4, with these facts in hand, might be an idea. This is just thought to start claiming the homes of police, judges, lawyers, mayors, and maybe as well as your own. Savvy? So here's the as I've named it, Patrice Deed Fund. And there was a little note that Cynthia had put in here as well, and I really need people to, grasp a hold of this, because it's, Santo is gonna go and hang out with Johnny for a 30-minute show, and all good. All good. See you soon. So we will have Santo on shortly. Now, getting back to Patrice Deed Fund and what Cynthia had added to the top of this document, you can get this on loveovermind.wordpress.com for your own records and for your own download and perusal fun, and for memorizing certain things that you may want to memorize. Keyword being memorize, as Patrice loves to say. Yes? I love it. Honestly, hon, you have such a beautiful way of writing. Thank you so much for this. So here we go. This is what Cynthia had put on top of this before we get into the actual Patrice Deed Fund. The Crown, and there's a link here as well, legislation.gov.uk. All right? The link is in the document, so I would implore and urge you to go and grab it from the loveovermind.wordpress.com website. C'est que vie, remaining beyond sea for 7 years together and no proof of their lives. Judge in action to direct a verdict as though c'est que vie were dead. Okay? You're dead. I don't think you've swum ashore yet, but we're trying to get you there. Part 4 of this is, if the supposed dead man proved to be alive, then the title is Revested, Action for Mean Profits with Interest. Cool. Someone savvy. Now, shall we start taking back our homes and the homes of the dead legal enforcers too, then? That's just a question I brought up. I thought that was kind of an important one. And there's a few other pertinent links that I got from The Crown, which is actually a Skype tag. So you're going to need to grab this information. So now I've got to pull out Patrice's deed fund. Looks like it was a link added to that, so I'm going to have to open it up separately. But here we go, because this is such a fun thing to read. I love reading this. It's kind of fun today, huh, Tony?
Yeah, it's certainly been a roller coaster. Mm.
Oh, yeah. All over the grid here. So actually, I've got to keep an eye on the chat. Are you in the chat room, by the way?
I am, yeah. I'm looking over.
Okay. All right. Anything that needs to be yelled about, just give me a holler while I go through this. So here we go. This is what Patrice sent, and thank you so much, love, for being the scout trooper, point lead, being that you are, getting the job done, sending out the memo. And the memo is getting received, and it's getting sent out far and wide. Thank you. Teamwork. Look at that, eh? A couple of dragons just flying. Anyway, here we are. Not sure how other places are doing energy-wise today. However, where I am hanging out is peacefully quiet and in a benign way. So I went to the county seat today in order to check on the piece of property that I have had my eye on for about 6 to 8 weeks. After listening to the last seminar info, I've wanted to figure out how to file a, claim of abandonment. So today I simply went to the Recorder of Deeds, everyone listening, who gave me the quizzical look until I said, and I quote, "I am here as a living being and would like to get some information about this." Oh, their faces changed. And they tell me, go across to see the Director of Equalization. The Director of Equalization. The Director of Equalization. Hopefully that sinks in. So I was like, the what? Because I was unexposed to such an official. Never heard of it. So, note to self, inquiring minds want to know, what is the Equalization Office? So I will follow up on this later, as I didn't want to lose my focus for why I was there. Although this is a very curious office. Must research further who they are and what they do. So I went there and saw the woman and suggested that the people across the hall said that she, the Equalization Office, could give me the legal description of the property in question. Yes. It took 10 seconds. With said equalization paper, which printed out the property as original to the town of Whitewood, I went back to the recorder and said, "Will this help you now find the recorded deed?" "Yes." $2. Okay. So after my fiat dollars and her little 5 minutes of pulling down some books from shelves, note what was just said there, not looking in the computer, but literally pulling down some books from shelves, I have a receipt for my $2 made payable to the fiction Patrice blank blank blank. I took note that she all-capped me, but that's fine. The all-caps fictional person gave her fictional $2. Although I didn't push it and boxed the signature on those dollars as things were going along pleasantly. So now I took her papers and went downstairs to see the treasurer, and figured instead of explaining myself 3 times, while they look at me weird, which is the problem I first had upstairs, well, that is until I spoke the magic words, open sesame, as in, I am a living being. This time I went into the treasurer office, waited my turn, and then when she said, "May I help you?" I said, "Well, quite likely you may, as I am here as a living being and I accept your oath of office, and kindly ask that you produce for me the amount of excise tax due on this property, so I may clear it under proof of claim and so acknowledge the warranty deed." She stared at me silently thinking. Then she said, "What excise tax? I have no idea what an excise tax is. Do you mean a property tax?" To which I said, "Well, whatever tax it is that needs to be cleared by whatever you call it, so that I might fully unencumber this property and file an appropriate claim as a living being." Again, she stared at me silently. Then again, she says, do you mean the property tax on this property? This is what gets taxed, as there is no such thing as an excise tax. To which I replied again, well, yes, please. I would like to know the amount of the tax which encumbers this property so I can clear it and set free the warranty deed as a living being. Again, she stared at me silently and says, there is no tax due on this property. 0. Oh, terrific! Will you kindly print me something from the treasurer which reflects such information that I may take with me? She does a few computer clicks and beeps and whirs and things and exhumes a piece of paper and circles the encoding on the property and says, it's exempt from tax. I ask, does this document reflect such exemption and the 0 amount due? She says, right there, it's BE, a benevolent exemption. It's exempt from property tax. See? I just want to stop here for a sec. Isn't it interesting that benevolent exemption also has the same letters as break and enter? I always wondered about the break and enter thing, you know? There you go. Same thing, different being. Here we go. I'm just going to quickly double check here that we haven't got, yeah, we're good here. Just making sure Kevin hasn't called in. Don't want to leave him hanging on the line there. So here we go. Let's continue. Isn't this fun, boys and girls? I loved it. This is such a great story. You tell great stories, Patrice. I need you to put a kid's book together because this is perfect. I can probably do some cartoons for you if I ever get the time. I've promised a couple of people already, and I haven't had time. But anyway, here we go. I know, Tony, don't jump on that. Please, please. And she clearly does not want to be speaking with me any further. And we look at one another, and then I thank her, merrily leave, and she knows that I know that I'm onto something. Today's mission is accomplished, and now I can work on figuring out how to file the claim of abandonment on it as phase 2. Nice. Instead of getting into rounds with her, even though she stepped me through 4 rounds of public pretender that she didn't know what I was asking, it must be a habit for them to question people 3 or 4 times. It's actually the rules. 3 times the charm, guys. So you just keep standing your ground. Be a parrot. That's what they do. Be the mirror. Parrot them back. Excuse me. So the only thing she could bristle me over was the word excise tax versus property tax. However, I kept insisting I want to unencumber from whatever tax you might happen to call it. And she realized I was on laser delivery. To get at something she really had no more wiggle room to thwart me on. Whole thing took 5 minutes and $2. Travel round trip to the county notwithstanding. And I have a copy of the notarized last deed, evidence of over 6 months of abandonment, proof that the property carries no tax, is original land to the town, and that the county also pays utilities on properties for people with no income. To be continued, Patrice. Oh, Patrice, thank you so much. Such a lovely story. Like I said, I'm going to put together a library with all these wonderful stories that you're telling. So that's the key thing here, and this is the point I'm trying to make to people. This is what your status is. Until you reassert that you are, in fact, a living being, you're dead. You're a hunk of, well, you're not even a hunk of meat. You're a fiction. You're an illusion. That's why you're not going to get anything done until you correct your status. And many of us have been saying that for a great long time. And and it looks like, Patrice, wait until I come on later and tell today's story. Yes, Tony? Absolutely. How about you say yes, Kate? Because Kate is watching too. Please, we'd love to have you. And again, as I've asked you, Patrice, if you just give me a quick text, let me know. Because I don't always have the board right in front of me where I like to have it, based on so many things that actually happen on my computer all at the same time. So I've got 2 computers running here, 3 screens. So anyway, yeah, that's some fascinating stuff, don't you think? Anyway, oh yeah, 3 times the charm, yes. And Patrice is definitely on a phone, and that's why I don't like to keep her waiting, because I know what it's like to not have as many minutes as I'd like to have, and yeah, it's all good. So anyway, still no sign of Kevin, and I'm not seeing him on Skype either, so hopefully he'll get here at some point. But in the meantime, Tony, your thoughts on the living being, and you know, maybe toss in the Denique ultimatum, just because, just, you know, where we were at back in December, January, Santo as well, we were all on the same page about, we knew we were dead. We were just trying to figure out how they killed us and where the layers were. So your thoughts on being a living versus a dead being?
Well, it's a totally different way of living, that's for sure. We'll start with that one. But no, it's definitely, there's no two ways about it. It completely changes your life. You can't do a lot of things that you were doing before. You have to give up the fiction. You have to give up the name. It comes with a lot of responsibilities. You have to start trusting the universe to provide and various other things, which is one of the most difficult things. Because you can't exactly go and get a job because you can't pay tax, and there's all sorts of difficulties. But it's worth it when you actually do it. But I don't know. I think it definitely needed some of us to stand out and go and do it and see where our experiences were before everybody starts quitting their jobs tomorrow and starting jumping on the bandwagon. But that's the point. We've actually gone out there and done it, and it's changed everything about who we are. Changed our life completely. I know that I've lived it now, so I know exactly what I'm talking about from that perspective.
And that's, I was going to say, and that's why we're actually doing what we're doing, because we're trying to share this experience that we've been through to help pave the way, and that's exactly what Patrice is doing here, and that's what Peter's done. It's what you've done. It's what Santo has done. It's what Diatra has done. It's what so many of us have done. And I do want to throw a big thank you out to Diatra for actually having this platform, and I know he's been through thick and thin to keep this platform going. And that's just another testament to solidarity and the downright stubbornness of all of us to stand, regardless. Anyway, sorry about that. Just wanted to throw that in there, Tony.
No, that's fine. As I say, it wasn't and isn't easy. But the fact of the matter is, it needs to be done, because obviously it's only getting out there and getting stuck in the mud that you figure, hang on, I might need wellies. And then you decide to put your wellies on, and then you think, well, hang on, it's a bit dark around here. I can't see anything. I need a torch. It's raining. I need an overcoat. And you start learning all these different things that you need along the way in order to survive. And that's basically what you need to do. You need to dive in before you can learn to swim.
Well, exactly. And this is one of the reasons why I'm telling people that they don't need to do what we've done. It's already been done. This is the thing, is all people have to do now is just start getting into knowing who they are, that you are divine of this earth, that you are part of this place, and that's part of the awakening that I was on the air with Sun and Denise today, discussing this, and some of the information that she was sharing that has just literally crossed her desk today and yesterday. Really nice. And the rule, if but one shall awaken, and she has actually sourced everything back through the DNA, to the mitochondrial DNA, source beginning of the first cell, and yes, we are of divine source. And sorry, if you're a walking, talking human being, you got to be that in order to and the meek shall inherit the earth. We are the meek, right? The humans. The ones with that particular DNA strand, and it relates back. You should go to SunkyTempleTrust.com, I believe it is. I'm going to pull it up. I've got so many bloody websites in my head, so many new ones hitting me, and of course they're hitting in rapid fashion. We are in the quickening, but the Living Will Trust is in there, and I probably said that wrong. But the point is, get over to SunkyTempleTrust.com and check it out for yourself. Lots of news coming out, and I would highly recommend that you tune into that tomorrow as well. I know I've got one webinar tomorrow. Am I doing any shows with you tomorrow, Tony?
Not tomorrow, no. We've got tomorrow off, then it's Friday again.
Yeah, that's usually Thursday's a pretty pretty easy day. There's only, as far as I know with me, there was only the 2-hour commitment. Last week it turned into a 6-hour commitment all day, but that's just no problem. I'm here to serve, and as I need things to show up, things show up. So that's all there is to it.
There might be Truth Central, but we're not sure on that one yet.
Oh, yeah, okay. And Cynthia just said, so I guess the document that I was just talking about has been posted to loveovermind.wordpress.com. Thank you, Cynthia. You're loved. You know you're loved. Anyway, and I have to say, without Cynthia,
much of the truth that I've been able to gather and compile. Cynthia has been instrumental in making that available. Literally within 24 hours of me meeting her, she had set up the loveovermind.wordpress.com website and has been the stormtrooper ever since, making sure that everything's been done. And I know I'm a pain in the ass because I do send out a lot of information, and we're trying to get all that compiled into one website area where you can get Tony stuff, Peter stuff, my stuff, Santo stuff, everybody's in one location. There's a lot of stuff coming to fruition together that everyone can be a part of, and we're living syncretism. Everything is coming together. Oh, and did I mention at the beginning of the show we've already won? Did I mention that? Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I mentioned that because we've already won. We know who we are.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to a couple of discussions tomorrow. It's going to be a very, very interesting week. And by the way, I would like to pass along just a note of gratitude to my own mother. I'd like to celebrate her life. Today is the 25th anniversary of her passing over. So I just want to take, and that's to honor my own mother. You know, not a year goes by, I don't think of it. Not a day goes by, I don't think of her. So same with my kids, Sue, everybody. It's not a day goes past that I don't have these people in my heart, and I'll keep them there, nice and warm, where compassion lives. It's a beautiful thing. So, and with my dad as well. He passed over last year. He gave me the last keys for the Denneke Ultimatum, by the way. I wouldn't have known what to write when I did write it a few months later, but it was my experience with having to get an emergency passport and working through the British High Consulate in Ottawa and literally forcing their hand, calling their bluff, to the point where I was showing it to Terry and Pat there on Sunday. They stopped by, and very interesting little passport, beige with gold writing. Very interesting. But anyway, I just thought I'd like to pass that on and honor my own ancestors. And we're all one, guys. You need to know that we're all one. And go figure, the Irish might have had something to do with it. No, did. And you'll see. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful awakening. And I should mention right now, and this is just a message to all, that with the new moon last night and the sun, basically, if you were listening to last night's show, Santo, I'll ask him to bring forth this information again tonight as to the situation we're in with regards to the as above, and how important it is right now with all the planets and the sun and moon lined up in Scorpio right now. If anyone out there, and Mercury being retrograde, I got a report this morning that they're revealing that no one knew how much influence Mercury as a planet has in terms of magnetics, and no surprise there. It's my ruling planet. Boy, do I feel the retrogrades. And those in Virgo, it's their ruling planet as well. So that's my youngest daughter, Hillary. She's a Virgo as well. Well, she's Virgo. I'm Gemini. We both share the same planet. So anyway, just in gear, huh? Are you there, Tony? Or?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm cool.
Oh, you're cutting out there.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, there you are. Anyway, so yeah, as soon as Sano gets on here, I'll get him to outline and explain about what the cycle is right now that we're in. And it's funny when you're looking in the now with eyes to see and ears to hear. You start seeing all the supposed coincidences of everything lining up. You see how everything lines up for a reason. It's perfect, regardless of what we've been through. This game is absolutely stunningly perfect, and all you got to do is see the lessons for what they are, learn from them, enrich your life with them, whether they're good experiences or bad, depending on the situation. All things for a reason, and some have picked harder than others, and that's okay. So let's get back to what everyone out there can do on their own. And again, this is about the intent. This is about taking the baby step. This is about moving forward. One of the examples I used today, because the show that I was on was Two Spirit. Two Spirit show with Denise, and again, brand new to me, so titles are eluding me at this point. My head is just crammed with information right now until I can get it defragged. But essentially, it's like this. When it comes to baby steps, I'll tell you, as a Two Spirit, you live the baby steps. It's those little things that that you can do to the point where, okay, well, you're not hiding anymore. And that is the hidden terror that we walk in until we finally cross that last little bit of fear. And we talked about that this morning with Mark Passio and his show that he did on Halloween, October 31st. I forget the show that he did it on. I've got it saved on my Mark Passio link on my YouTube channel if you want to see it. Very valuable interview in terms of a lot of truth with regards to fear and why you need to get out of it. Because fear, if you have any fear, then you're not free. It's only the fear that will trap you. And when you have an unknown, that's where the fear comes in. And we do countless leaps of faith every day. I mean, you take it for granted. You get in a car and just pull out and drive. That is an extreme leap of faith, because you're putting yourself, in a traveling unit that you're taking your life in your hands, but you don't think twice about it. You just know you got to get over to the mall, or you got to get here, you got to get there, you got to get anywhere, and you don't really put any consideration into it. And that's not fear mongering. That's just a reality that we live in. That people are not traveling, for the most part, awake, and things can happen. So, but I don't dwell on those things because I don't create that kind of garbage. I was just trying to give you an example. But anyway, Tony, give me a break. I'm talking too much.
Yeah, sure. I was just calling up Mark's interview there. Because, like I said, bloody good interview. Covered many different aspects of what it's all about, really. Just pardon me a second. Need to clear my throat there.
Sorry,
yeah.
what's that?
I just said pardon me for a second, and you need to clear my throat.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
But yeah, lots of different aspects about politics, politicians, the blue team, the red team, Conservatives, Labour government, how people are finally going to, the amazement of Mark and I can't remember the guy that was with him, Charlie McGrath. Charlie and Mark's observations about how people can be so misguided and possibly believe that, 1 minute they're told Obama is going to get them out the poo, if you like, and then just over 1,000 days later, oh no, it's going to be this next guy, because we've just gone through worse and worse and worse times with Obama. I say we as in loosely the American people, the people, whatever. And now this other gent's come along and he's going to take it all over and he's going to make it all better. Well, if you didn't believe that all the times previously, what the bloody hell are you doing believing it now? And if you do believe it this time, why the bloody hell did you, when is it finally going to dawn on you that it's not going to be the presidents that change anything, it's not going to be the parties that change anything. It's down to us to change it, it's not down to believing bullshit. And that's one of the things that he gets across. But he spends an hour and a half plus going through lots of different aspects of free will choice, responsibility, negation of that responsibility, understanding who we are, why we're here, how we got in this mess, and he's so clinically accurate is what I would term it as. But some information.
No, I totally agree. I really loved his comments with regards to basically adults walking around acting as children, where they're more wrapped up in silly elections, distractions like that. Because I think by now people are starting to realize that regardless of who they vote for, it doesn't matter because they've already picked who they want and who's going to be the one to carry the corporate line, as it were. So there's nothing that you think you're doing in terms of voting. Nothing. The only thing you're doing is granting them power to screw you over. And honestly, how many times do we got to tell you that the next politician and the last politician, the only time you know they're lying is when their lips are moving. And they make promises and they say no more taxes, and every time you get new governments, you get new taxes, and then you go into this bitch fest and all the rest of it. But still, you go out to the polls to vote your next master, and I'll tell you something, those that don't vote are the only ones that have the right to bitch. Hey, I didn't vote for the jerk. You did. Enjoy it. So what we've been doing is, just standing back, trying to be all grown up. I mean, hey, I was there, not so much in the voting thing, but basically walking children. And Mark said it very eloquently, and he didn't pull any punches either, because we're dealing with the vast majority of people out there that are basically children, more wrapped up in their day-to-day nonsense, distractions of holidays and what are we doing this weekend and what's on TV and all the rest of it. I'm not saying that any of this is evil. It's just pure distraction, and it is in that childlike naivety that they've been able to control us for so long. So you listening right now and hopefully we talking are taking it to the next level of I'm tired of walking around playing the role of a child, getting told what to do, when I can do this, when I can do that, what the rules are. Excuse me. I use the same rule I apply in my life every day. If I get up, of course, when you get up, you generally have to, go tinkle, right? I don't ask anyone for permission. I just go. I don't have to put my hand up in class and go, teacher, can I go tinkle, right? No, and that's part of the control mechanism. They put it in kids. If you want to go to the bathroom, you got to put your hand up. I said, sorry, nature's calling, and I got to listen to you? Excuse me. Well, no problem. If you don't want to let me go, that's fine. I'll just pee right here. No problem. And that's basically how you approach your life. If you didn't ask for permission to go pee this morning, apply that to the rest of your day, and you'll find it's going to be a whole lot better kind of day, and I'm just wondering, where is Peter? I was kind of hoping Peter was going to jump in here tonight, and maybe he's on a bunch of calls, because I sent out the promo with him on it, and I made sure he got it. So anyway, I'm just going to quickly tag him here. So, your thoughts on the childlike adults there, Tony?
Well, unfortunately, it is just like that. It really is. I don't know where to really start, but I mean, I've got to be honest, I was, brought up with a good sense of, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to get a license, you've got to get your insurance, you've got to do this, and this whole barrage of rules that you have to conform to. And, it was perfectly fine at one point. Yeah, of course I'll get a license and lie to my senses. I'll get insurance, I'll pay tax and all the rest of it. But then I started figuring out that none of the things that we really thought were real. In other words, okay, let's just look at license and road tax and insurance for a second. Now, when we look at the reality of life, the only reason we have a car is because they're denying us technology that we've got, which is perfectly, and I use the term anti-gravity loosely, because what it actually does is create a new atmosphere around the craft, which repels the Earth's field. So it's not necessarily anti-gravity, but the thing floats, all right? So we've got technology that we can term loosely as anti-gravity. So why do we need to build roads? Well, we don't. Okay, so if we don't need to build a road, why do we need a license to drive on a road? You don't. Okay, so why do we need to pay, why would I need to pay road tax on a road if you're not using roads? Well, you won't. Okay, we're getting somewhere now. And you need to start with reality. The reality is, if we were forced into a situation where we needed roads, all right, road tax might be a good thing, a license might be a good thing, fine. But the point is, what they're hiding is the truth, and they're hiding the truth about the technological capabilities that we've had for a very, very long time. And that's the magnitude of it. It's no good waking up to a bit of this. You've got to take Pandora's lid straight off the box, and then all the technological breakthroughs come out, and then you start learning that all the physics and the science and everything that you were taught was wrong. Then you learn that, you don't have to follow orders, but you've been conned into a position where you think you have to. when you've got cancer, you don't have to go and get big chunks of yourself cut out and go and stand in radiation machines and get irradiated, which kills the good cells and the bad cells. You can actually change your body's pH so that the cancer disappears. Cancer can't grow in a pH balanced environment. So these are just a couple of the things that you learn about. And then you start looking at history and ancient history. It's like, well, okay, well, I understand history. This bloke called Jesus came down. No, you've got it all wrong. So then you need to go and start looking at religion. And then you figure out all of the different aspects of religions. And you look at physics. And you start to see how they've encoded astrotheology, harmonics, sacred geometry, numerological information, all into the same alchemical code, which is the world we're in today, and how that has been misconstrued as religions. If you look at a Christian cross, you'll think automatically, well, Christ died on the cross, blah, blah, blah. No, what they've actually encoded in the religion is sacred geometry. In other words, if I take a cross, take a piece of paper that's cut out in the side of a cross, I put it flat on the desk, I fold up the bottom and the top, and then the side, and then I fold the top over, it forms a cube. Metatron's cube. It's encoded. And if that wasn't enough, okay, so what I'm saying to you, the cross is basically a metaphor for a cube, Metatron's cube, which is one of the Platonic solids. And then we'll look at the Muslims, okay, because everything's included, astrological, harmonics, numerology, geometry, all of this stuff. So we look at the Muslim religions, and we look at the top of the mosque. Well, what's on the top of the mosque? It's a half moon. So they're telling you, encoded within the religion, is the astrotheological aspects. One side geometry, the other side astrotheology, put them together. Oh yeah! Well, give that girl a candy stick. You just start to figure it all out. And it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. But it's all in there if you look. But you need to find the separate pieces to start putting the pieces together to form the picture that eventually builds into the jigsaw puzzle that you need to understand. And that's pretty much where we're going. There you go, there's my rant.
Hell of a rant, Tony, hell of a rant. And just so people know, I've got both of my Skypes open right now. I would ask that they focus on my original one. I only have the other one open right now just to make sure that people that may have sent a contact to it that had been blocked on the other one for their own account safety. And it looks like I've touched base with everyone anyway. If you could, just use the other one. That's the katie.renee.thompson one, please. That's the main one. That was the one I was using that got hacked, and the other one's only a backup because I will not be checking the other one very often. It is only there for a backup for those that know what it is, and so I just wanted to get that one across to people because it's really, 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 really confusing. Because I've got conversations going on both here that I really don't need. So anyway, so if you are using the other one, I wouldn't say get rid of the contact, but if you're going to talk to me direct, I would ask that you use the katie.renee.thompson one. That's the original. The first one you had is the one I'm using. Hey, I went through enough to get the damn thing back, so I want to use it. It's the one that has been going out for, since April last year when I set that one up. I've got a couple set up, but that's the one I use the most and has had the most announcing so people can get a hold of me. And for those that are looking for me on Skype, there it is, katie.renee.thompson, KATIE.RENEE.THOMPSON. All right, so you can get me there, and you can get me on my email. And I have a second email set up for group sends only, so please use this email if you're emailing me, katierenee@live.ca. Only one E in Renee, though. Keep that in mind. KATIERENE@live.ca. Those are the mainstays of getting a hold of me. And for those on Facebook, you can get me at kate.renee.5. That's KATE.RENE.5. So there you go.
I'm linked in through your website as well, Kate, aren't I?
Okay, thank you. That's those are the ones, the main contacts to get a hold of me, and based on the fact that I have very limited cell minutes, that one I give out very sparingly. I'll save that for another night, and we'll go from there. But it is available when and if people need to. But again, hey, Tony, myself, Santo, and so many of us are literally relying on the universe to keep us alive. And the universe has been providing and has been keeping us alive. Much gratitude on that. And that's all part of those that have chipped in. And I can't say thank you enough to those that have. Hey, it's like this. You're on the boat with us, and you're rowing. And, we're going to do everything in our power. And hopefully, if you've been listening to our shows long enough, you will know that when I say this, we mean it. We will do everything in our power to dig as deep as we can, to find the stuff, to put the pieces together and share them every single day as we come across them. Fortunately for us, we're connected in with so many people around the world that are working all on the same things, and we are connected. We are connected to a level that I could never have imagined. And literally the truth comes flying through our doors in rapid fashion to the point where, hey, Tony, I know you get overwhelmed. I know Santo does, and I know I do, and Peter, and so many of us get overwhelmed here. So, I'm not sure what's up with Peter. I tagged him, and he's showing online, but I know his phone was ringing off the hook today. So, and I know he's been working on some stuff with Ted and a few others. So, no harm, no foul. We got this. But hey, I'm just saying, people are looking for you. They're wondering where you are, and sorry, Navy boy, you're a rock star. Get over it. And I have had numerous comments from people, by the way, Peter, that you convey your heart so well across the air. And, well, I know that. I know that. And I know where your heart beats. And I know how hard and how loud it beats, just like Tony's, just like mine, just like so many others. And people are getting it. They're getting it. And I'm seeing the net results of that every single day. And I got to tell you, even with this retrograde and you name it, and the stuff that comes flying at us, there are days, and I've had many recently, that you just get up and it's like, why? There's that question, Tony? Why?
Yeah, tell me
why?
About it another day.
Where you just want to go, I quit, but we can't. We're too close, and we've already won the game. And if you think I'm not going to take that extra step for that extra mile, forget it. I'm already running on it. And here's the joy of it, Tony, and you know it, you see it too. We've got so many people that are, jogging alongside. This is not a lonely game anymore, where it was not too long ago. Oh, and here's the individual I wanted to get reference for Santo, and thank you. There we go. And I'm just going to bring up because Santo didn't want to get a hold of you. I am OTF Cunningham, okay? So I just needed you to know that. So I'm going to go to your Facebook page and post that for Santo, give it to him so he has it. And this is how we do things around here, okay? You contact us. Well, my job, I'm a son and daughter, so I just connect dots. That's what I do. Working on the switchboard, Tony?
I would say as well, if any guys are out there and you've got some information that you can help with, and I believe there's a lot of people out there listening now that have got information that we really, really need to know, I would implore you to come forward, or at least ping an anonymous email, or make a phone call, or get in touch with Facebook or something. If you can't come out, if you're frightened to come out yourself, we understand your fear. But the point being, at least if you get us the information one way or the other, then that will help.
Oh, absolutely. Every baby step helps. Every urge that we have in the awakening is what we need, and everyone matters. Everyone matters. Now, I just posted a link in, I'm not sure, I guess this is the servants' room. Yeah, that's what we call ourselves, servants of the all. Anyway, I'm trying to locate it here. To copy and paste it into, oh, there it is. It finally showed up on the other Skype. I don't have Santo on the other Skype, and I've got my other computer set up, so I'm just going to move this over to Santo so we can see it. Anyway, so thank you. I am OTF Cunningham. I'm passing that to Santo right this very instant. So there we go. Just got to let him know. There's the link you asked for. See, look at that. You're seeing the world change in real time. Welcome to Outside the Box and how we do things around here. But anyway, yeah, and something else too, based on what Cynthia is writing in the room right now. There is only one jurisdiction on this planet, guys. There is a new world order, has been in place for thousands of years. And the distraction for that was mainly making us think that they were working towards one. No, they already have one. All right? What they're trying to do is get you to agree with it. Finally, but now they've had to expose it all. And they've had to come out with so much stuff because we forced their hands. We called their bluff on every level. And people need to understand that there is only one jurisdiction on this planet. The New World Order masters have been so clever in creating boundaries, borders, dividers, divide and conquer. They've divided you with little lines on a map that somehow matter. They've separated you through religions, if you're Jewish or Christian or Muslim or Hindu or Buddhist, it doesn't matter. They have created these divisions deliberately to keep people warring with each other. And the irony is, what Tony had already said, there is only one science, and that's the holy science, the as above. And all of that, as above, so below. We're talking astrology, master theology here. Where all of the math, where all of the science, where everything comes into play in syncretism. And that's, there's where Santo comes in on Sunday nights. He's the one that is focused on that particular subject of bringing everything together, all of the sciences into one. And gosh darn, he's done it. So I would, again, implore you to tune in on Sunday nights. I mean, I would implore you to tune in to all the stations that we're affiliated with, because there are some beautiful people doing some beautiful work, and they're going to give you something that you can resonate with every single day. Every time you tune in, that is our goal.
Yep. The more you hear it, the more you get it.
Exactly. And truth is that one beautiful thing that it cannot be denied. And here's the thing: a truth learned is owned. You can't put it back in Pandora's box. It's yours. When you put your realize on a truth and see it for what it is, that can't be erased. It's now in your now. And with that comes a responsibility. Now, here's the thing about knowledge, and I'll get your comments on this, Tony. The greater the knowledge you have, as you climb the Jacob's ladder to the all-knowing, as we refer to Creator as the all-knowing one, knowledge by knowledge, you're climbing up. Every time you climb, there is a greater level of responsibility, of a wisdom and moral level regarding your fellow beings here. Everything here is connected. Every aspect of life goes back, and I've said this before many times on shows. Everything you see as living on this planet goes back to the first cell of life that ever showed up here. We are all connected to that. And that's been the key to turn this all around. And it was finding that tracing all the way back. And that's exactly what we were discussing today. With more of that information coming out tomorrow, I'm going to go and dig up the links right now and share those with everyone, what you should be listening to. These will be profound truths that you haven't heard in a very long time. But these are the proofs that take anything that would be deemed an off-worlder back off this world. And I will tell you, my intuitive on this, and this is just me talking here, and I've said this for a long time too, the reason why this planet has been cut off from the rest of the universe, literally, there is no exit here, this is effectively a prison planet, is because the entities that wish to control this place were trying to control the divine knowledge, and that's what we are the keepers of here, in order to basically take over the universe. When they talked of in the books that there's a war in heaven, well, you are in it right now. You are in the war for heaven. This is the battle of good and evil here. and it's going to be up to you and your efforts as to, who prevails. But here's the thing. We always knew it was going to be the good anyway because, well, gosh darn, evil by definition will destroy its own life. That's not very logical, and that's why I choose not to listen to the ego, Cain, left mind. It is merely a tool for analyzing, for deciphering the intuitive. That's it. It's a very handy tool, but the unfortunate part is many people get overwhelmed by their own ego and knowledge, where they think themselves to be God, but they really don't know who they are. Take your typical tax collecting ticket writer when they walk up in full uniform with a gun and a taser and all the rest of it. If you want to know what an ego God is, well, there it is. There's someone with feigned power, completely under control by a master above, who's under control by a master above, who's under control by a master above. The dog's going up the line. It's basically a husky team, okay? And I assure you, the guys that are walking around with their flashy blue lights and red and blue lights and their sense of God, power with because they stand there with a gun. I mean, every time it's kind of funny because they always say about gun crimes and all the rest of it. Every time a cop shows up, there's a gun involved. Period. Every time, and not just sometimes. Every time a cop shows up, there is a gun involved. And that is a very powerful fear tool that they like to wield. And they've got their dogs pretty well trained, but we're breaking the programming, slow but sure, and we're doing that peacefully and with love, trying to get these guys to wake up to who they are. And if they had any inkling, they certainly wouldn't be walking around sticking guns in people's faces like they've done to me and my family. It's very sad.
Can you give me a couple of hints on that one?
Hints on what?
Well, various things that you said. You covered various different topics. One of them being responsibility. When you learn this knowledge, you then become empowered. Let me give the people a couple of examples, if you don't mind. Okay.
Yeah, I was throwing that to you. Sorry, I just went on a rant. You know what I'm like. Just tell me to shut up sometime. You can do that. Nobody else. Well, Santo can.
I'm trying to be polite. Listen, it's a simple case of if you do understand consciousness, you're not going to be allowing somebody with a white coat on or without a white coat on to walk up to your child and jab an injection in its arm. Unless you know what's in the injection, what it's going to do to your child, whether it's going to harm them or turn them into Superman. The point is, you still shouldn't allow somebody to do that to you, but you've been conditioned to allow it to happen. Same as the birth certificates. And now you know you're empowered with the knowledge of what you're doing, signing your child over to the state. Now you're aware of that, you shouldn't be doing it. If you're walking down on the side of a train track and you see somebody up front, just for argument's sake, is deaf and dumb and blind, and they're conditioned, they don't understand the fact that they're on the train track. You now know that they're going to get hit behind them with a train coming down the track. So now you are automatically empowered with the responsibility that person is going to die unless you warn them of that situation. And the list goes on and on and on. So that's what we mean as far as once you've got the knowledge, you are then duty-bound as a moral human being to pass on that information to somebody else. When they're not the one to hear it, I'm afraid it's just one of those sticky points. The point is, do you feel that you have a knowledge not to allow people to inject your children with poisonous, nasty injections? Now we can look at thimerosal, squalene, all the adjuvants in vaccines and all the rest of it. I don't want to go on a tirade about vaccines. The point is, they're dangerous. Okay, so when you understand they're dangerous, you're not going to allow that to happen. Now, these dogs that we're talking about, these police forces and all the rest of it, what are they going to do to their kids on Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning? They're going to acquiesce to the white coats. Because they're not smart enough, they haven't figured it out that they're going to be their children are going to be injected. They're going to have the microchips. They're going to be when they get retirement age, there'll be another big cop with a big gun and a big truncheon to come up and they'll be knocking over there. This is the point they've got to figure out. Again, it's that consciousness level, that knowledge level, and that morality level, all mixed into one. You can't separate any of them when you've got the knowledge. I hope I've made that clear.
No, you made it abundantly clear. With great knowledge comes great responsibility, and this has been one of the biggest problems with those that have had this knowledge for literally thousands of years and have kept it from the rest of mankind, that have decided to keep this power unto themselves and basically take a planet hostage. And this is why I'm saying we are. This is the divine keeper of knowledge place. Okay, that's just how it works. And no, sorry, I stand to post. I will not yield, and none shall pass. No, I've got Mother Earth's back on this one. Not a chance that anyone. No, we keep the knowledge for all. This is not for.
You still okay?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. You losing me?
Hello, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, of course. That's what.
It's really an internet connection problem.
Okay, that might be on your end. I'll ask the chat room. You guys hearing me okay in the chat room, or is it a connection between Tony and I that's missing here? So I'll just wait for someone to let me know. I know we have a few second delay on that. Okay, so you can hear me okay. Thanks, Adakrina. Love you. Oh, and by the way, just thanks for the heads up there. Excuse me. We're continuing on Saturday night with Freedom Reigns. I'm doing a two-spirit version. I'm bringing the real spiritual aspect on the Saturday nights now of the two-spirit LGBT community, as I'm calling it, outside the box and over the rainbow. That's what we're going to be collectively talking about. And we can both be heard, Tony. I guess you weren't hearing me on your end. But I just wanted to bring that to the table. We had our first show on Saturday night, and now more than ever, we need you to get in touch with the spiritual aspect of you, your divinity, how powerful and truly beautiful you are. And that's what we're really trying to bring to the table for you, to get out of this mundane existence thinking way outside the box. With the new moon and the sun, the way it lined up yesterday, started the 15-day phase. 15 is the power number, I promise you. I had it explained to me, and it was explained based on the fact that I was born on the 15th. And even I didn't realize to the level at which what it represents. Now, what I will say, excuse me, where was I going there? We were talking about Saturday. About getting over the next 15 days. We have, this is our window. This is where you need to get your heart right. This is where you need to climb beyond the 51% of standing in the truth and make a conscious, aware effort to do so. This is where you need to, every day, more than ever, make a difference. Make a difference in one or more people's lives. That's your family. And I don't care what color they are. I don't care what religion they are. I don't care whatever you may think. We are all of the same bloodlines, guys. We are all family here. And that's why I need you to get over to SunkyTempleTrust.com. I'm going to dig those links up, Tony. So if you can chat for a sec, I'm going to pull some links and get that stuff posted, because this is critical information. Okay, so I'll give you the helm for a minute or so here. Is Tony there, or did we lose him? I think, okay, sorry, we must have lost you there, Tony. I've got you back in the room. I'm trying to get your mic hot here. There it is. Okay. There you are. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't realize you got bumped and came back, so you were put on hold there. So you're back. So if you can grab the helm for a second, I'm going to dig up some links for people right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotcha. I actually got cut off there when I was really going into some detail about, I can't actually remember the exact point now, but I was talking about how the dogs or the police that were actually duped into how can I put it, policing us, if you like, are also going to be policed themselves. And there's always, like how it says, somebody above them and somebody above them and somebody above them. But if they all realised, just if they knew that, the things that we're talking about, that if you let your children go into that school system where they'll be indoctrinated and they'll be injected with thimerosal, squalene, adjuvants, and all the crap that's in these vaccines, that's what they're doing So once they know what they're actually doing to their own children, they won't do it anymore. Once they realise that, the people have kept all of the technological, amazing technology away from the people, and kept us into this construct, they wouldn't do it anymore. But this is the point. You see, a lot of these secret societies and all the rest of it keep this information until when you start, let's look at the Masons, when people are induced into the Masons, they're only given little pieces of information, but all the little pieces of information, because bear in mind that they're completely mind controlled when they go in there. Every time they're given a piece of information, they have to go and do a ceremony. And that ceremony gets them deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into an organisation, whereby that will eventually end up with, child abuse and, getting put into positions whereby they are entrapped. So that when they're that far into the society and they understand enough information, nowhere near this level, but enough information to realise they're going into a Luciferian, satanic situation, most of them are too deep to be able to get out. And a lot of it is, well, it's really dark stuff, which Mark Pisario talks about. And it's that point, if people are conscious enough to get all the other little bits about vaccines, about GMO food, about fluoride, about all the negative crap that's going into the food, the animals are being vaccinated, the mercury, the poisoning of the water, the chemtrails, and all of this other stuff, are all things where once you get to a point, you go, well, hang on, I don't want this shit anymore. And not only do I not want it for me, I don't want it for the kids. And I don't want it for my neighbour's kids and my kids, my kids' kids in the future. It just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. But if they knew what they were doing, they wouldn't do it. So somebody somewhere has to say, right, well, I know what they're doing, so I've now got a moral responsibility to talk to Fred, Frieda, and all the rest of the guys to say, well, hey, guys, whether or not you knew it is irrelevant, but this is what I can see going on. This is why it's going on. This is what's going to be the result if we allow it to carry on. Do you think it's a sensible idea we allow it to continue? And the sensible answer is, well, God, no. Well, that's the point that they're trying to get people to. If you carry on with this head stuck in the sand ostrich position, you're going to get quite a shock. And you can imagine what that shock's going to be. But by the time you've had that shock, it's probably going to be a bit too late,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Tony. And that's the thing. The game here, as I've seen it for quite a while now, is those within the system that have been given this feigned sense of power have been duped by their own egos, by their own controllers. And I'm talking about all the shills that are paid to hack with us and disrupt us and spread disinfo and all the rest of it. These are people that have been duped into thinking that they're doing the right thing based on this physical illusion, and nothing could be further from the truth. Because I tell you right now, guys, you think you're doing something good and you're getting paid well to do it. I'll tell you, your usefulness will show. Will once it ends, will show you exactly how much you're worth. And I got to tell you, the masters that run you have no respect for anything or anyone that would turn on its own kind, because they know you're a trainable traitor to your own blood, to your own divine inheritance of this place. And when your usefulness is done, there's a great big garbage pile that they're waiting to toss you on. Fortunately for you, that's not going to happen. Well, not because of my hand anyway. If you continue on down that road, especially over the next 14 days, 15 days here, you're basically assuring yourself your own demise. And evil will destroy itself. This is the harvest coming, guys. We're in Scorpio. The destruction happens now. And there are signs of things that have been occurring all day today. And I've already posted the link in the freedomreigns.us chat room. And I've posted it on Facebook. I will email this this link out to as many people as possible. I've got it posting in the Skype rooms as well. And I do urge those that have the link to listen to the full show and it really gets juicy in the second hour, no question. But definitely, Denise does such a beautiful job running the show. With Thomas is working with her today, and I just tuned in to listen. It wasn't working very well, so I thought, well, I'm not hearing it. It keeps cutting off on the Blog Talk page, so I decided, well, I'll call on Skype and just listen that way, and I ended up on the show with them for a little bit. So I would urge you to grab that link, pass it around far and wide throughout your Facebook, email, and Skype connections, and be prepared to, especially for the last 45 minutes, to hear some truths that you haven't heard for a very long time, but your heart will lift. And the joy of this is it's all based in science, absolute proof. And, if the one shall awaken, well, the odds are pretty good. There were 7 billion of us. And by the way, I will mention this. It's funny, the Irish were going to come and save the world, and go figure, we did. You'll understand that more when you understand the lineages and where they started and where they went back to. And this even back to the Emerald Liberation Front, the ELF stuff I talked about, 3-4 years ago on radio, and of how the game, set out and what the deal was. So I would even urge you to, if it's still available, I'm pretty sure on my other main computer I have the copies of it, because I was notorious for copying and pasting things and filing and setting up and filing and reading and just keeping everything safe, compiling it, archiving it, so that if it was ever needed, I could always cross-reference it and bring it back for those that need it as well. And it looks like we have Patrice on, so I'm going to bring Patrice into the call now. You know what? I'm getting pretty good at recognizing phone numbers, and it's kind of funny because I just said about 3 minutes ago, Patrice is going to call in. I can feel her. No, I can feel it. I felt the energy. Oh, you're calling in. Karen, did I not just say that? I just said it. So there you are. I'm an empath. You know what? When I'm connected to dragons, especially dragons as powerful as you're an easy field. No problem. You can be anywhere in the solar system and I'd know you're going to call. It's all good.
My daughter says that too. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'd like to give a shout out to Zip. You know who you are. Happy birthday. Anyway, hey, I had a interesting phone call with another. I have another story to share if you're ready for one.
Oh, as long as you put it in book form for me, because I'm going to start doing little children's stories. Oh, by the way, I need to ask you this. How was my conveyance of your story reading for you? Did I get the emphasis on things that you like and the mood?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I was laughing because, of course, I have the visual on the whole thing that I was doing. So yes. I'm, replaying the story in my mind, listening to you tell it, as I trot across the hall. What is the equalization office? Never heard of such a thing. But, like what Tony was saying earlier about this whole, episode about how we're trained, we're pressed upon to do all these things, get your license, you go to high school, you get your license, get your insurance, you do the thing, you fill out the paperwork. There's always something for us to fill out or file or do. And I can remember being a teenager at one point asking my mother, with all sincerity, is it a requirement of adult life that you have to have a file cabinet in order to conduct your life? Why do we need all these papers? I don't understand why, how come as I grow older, you grow, and we all grow older, you grow increasingly frantic trying to keep up with the paperwork on 6 individuals in our house, my family of 6 people. And is that going to be a requirement of adult life to manage a 2-drawer file cabinet that becomes a 4-drawer file cabinet that becomes? I said, I don't get it, and she would, bless my mother. She worked for IBM, one of the beasts of the system, but she, would ponder. She would say things. My mother had this beautiful way of saying, where is it written that I have to do this, that, the other thing? And it's funny because all the stuff that we're learning and awakening now, it's like, well, where is it written? What does the writing mean? What do the words mean? Why do we box the signature? Why are we signing all the stuff? I mean, we just take it for granted. And we become programmed. And until you realize that you're being programmed, you can't figure out how to unprogram. And so that becomes a sort of like tricky business.
Very, very tricky business.
Yeah, very tricky business. And if you don't know the little hidden games that are going on, like take you through it 3 times, ding, 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 ricochet rabbit, if you don't, go bounce around their little, government building 3 times or be told, I don't know what you're talking about 3 times, then you can't, go to the next step. Do not pass go, do not collect your $200. So it's a great game of Monopoly. So, I played, so I was like, well, okay. I had spent, so much time making the transition and being in this really, high-speed lane with you guys and Peter and joining the July province in September and turning that corner and coming on the show with you, Kate, starting in October and going through all that stuff, the notices. You saw my other email with the notice. I got that nice letter back.
Yeah, can I make a little comment on that? I love the fact of the list of names, the colonel, lieutenant colonel, and all the rest of these military titles. Okay, but I gotta tell you something. It would have actually meant something if that trooper hadn't have lied to you. If he hadn't pulled that stuff.
Yeah, right. He put my name on the little blue slip anyway, which I didn't include, and I was just trying to share the, thank you for being kind and not, unlike, the woman at the DP conference, the one that Peter and I went to in September, she told a story of, not having a good encounter, and the cop was a little bit jacked up and angry, and he took his elbow to the window, the driver's side window, smashed it and dragged her out of the car. So I was just grateful I wasn't having one of those experiences. I was, happy to just have the I'm not opening my window for you and him saying we need to communicate. And I'm like, well, we'll have to figure out another way because I'm not opening the window and I do not consent to you reaching in. So, off we went. And so I had this, so I've been spending a lot of time, as the listeners know, and as you keep pointing out, and the whole boxing messengers thing and sending out the notices. I've been a writing machine for the last 6 weeks or so.
Yeah.
I decided to attempt, and I did do my seal right away, and I, keep up with the documents that are in, the DP members area, and, I try to come on the show and we listen and keep inching forward. So I said, well, okay, I've got a bunch of, like Peter says, the bills, the utilities, and that. So I sent one of my notices that I've improved upon, which I thought was very good, and I had my little labels made, and I put the thing, and I said, okay, here's this, the set-off, So I sent it, with regard to my phone, because I had minute challenged with the phone thing, and they sent me one of their presentments, and I sent it back. But this time I sent it to the higher-ups that could actually do something about it, right? So I get a wonderful call from the very polite executive assistant for the president of AT&T. And she calls me and says, I have this, correspondence from you, and I'm not really quite sure what to do with it. I don't really understand what you're asking me to do. And could you please contact me? She gives me 2 direct numbers, whereby which I can call her, and we could chat. And I can explain to her what my paperwork is, because she didn't seem to understand it as written. So that was round 1. I was trying not to count. I was like, I got my fingers out. Okay, so this is round 1. We have to go 2, 3, 4, because I'm not going to get anywhere until we do this 4 times, because I'm onto this now, right? So I said, okay, call her back, blah, blah, blah. So we have this conversation. And she says, well, this is last Thursday. She says, well, and I said, it's very clear, what you need to do. She's like, oh, well, no, we need a bank account or a credit card. We can't really set up automatic payment. She goes, is there a dispute with your past bill? I'm like, no. She's like, oh, only going forward. I said, yes, going forward. That would be very helpful. To make sure it's paid. Please keep my phone in service, and let's figure out a way together to get this paid. And I sent you the nice notice, and I'm giving you my documented identity, and I'm alerting you that while it may seem strange to you, I'm one of many, and there are others that will be following, and just because I'm the first one doesn't mean there are not more to follow, because there are, I can assure you, and we need to figure this out. So I'm happy to be the little test case and work with you to figure out how to accomplish this objective. So she says, okay, well, I'm going to have to do some research and get back to you. I said, that sounds fine, right? So this is Thursday, Friday and Monday. I don't know what research she did, but, I got another call on whatever it is, Tuesday, yesterday or something like that, right? She leaves me a voicemail. Please get back to me regarding your account. Fine. So I call her today. We have the little phone that she gets on the phone. Oh, well, we can't do that. I can't set the automatic payment the way you asked me to. I don't understand what you're talking about. This is always the classic answer, right? I don't understand. Why I don't understand what you're talking about. I said, well, yes, you do. She says, no, we can't do that. You have to do it and provide us the numbers. I said, well, I provided you a number, and I think you're misunderstanding the number I gave you. Is it not readable? Is there a defect in the instrument that I gave you? Do you not understand? And she says, no, I don't understand. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's 2. Because we didn't understand on Thursday. Here it is Wednesday, right? We didn't understand today, right? So I thought, oh, well, I got to get her through 2 more rounds before we get to the understand part. So then she goes, I'm sorry, but that's just something we're just not going to be able to do. You're going to have to clearly see on program from whatever she researched on Friday and Monday or whatever she was told. I said, well, this is why I wrote to your office. I said, specifically, I said, you announced yourself as working for the president. She goes, yes, this is the president's office. I said, well, this is fantastic because he has the authority and the insight and the ability to follow up on what I'm telling you. I said, so you can call the number on the back. You can verify. She goes, oh, no, we can only work with banks in the United States.
Uh-huh.
So I said, oh, okay, that's wonderful. I said, because last time I understood, but we can check this fact together, I believe the United States Treasury is a bank in the United States. Yes? If not, we can
Puerto Rico.
Contact Timothy Geithner or whatever, and we can figure it out. She goes, no, I'm not going to do that. I said, okay, well, why don't we call the number on the back of the card on my documented identity so that you understand that what I'm telling you is true, that there is a way for you to do what I've asked you to do. I accept your oath of office, and now I'm going to ask you to act in honor and help me figure this out. She's like, well, we just don't do that. We're not going to make a phone call. We're not going to verify anything. We don't do that. I said, well, I beg to differ because I know that you do. I said, when someone sends up an automatic payment or they send you a check or they give you a credit card, you do things with your computer and you do things with your center and you get on the phone and you do little bank transactions that do verify the numbers and what people tell you and their identity and the correct transmission of information. I said, so you do that. So please don't sit here on the phone and tell me that you don't. So I know that you can do it. I'm asking you to act in honor and to do it. And so why don't we work together because I accept your oath of office and that you will act in honor. And, in my back of my mind, Kate, I'm saying this is round 3. Right?
Ding, ding, ding.
So, right. So I said, I didn't say it because we were having she's very polite. And I said, so now what? I said, let's call the number. I said, you can call the number. I said, because I've provided you my number, and what is your obligation to fulfill your end of the misunderstanding? Because I've given you all the information that I have, and I've given you my documented identity, my status, and everything else. I said, now what is your obligation to verify and fulfill your end of your end of the transmission? And she said, silence, right? So she goes, okay, how about this? Why don't we call the number together? I said, that would be wonderful. Let's call the number together. And I said, you will announce yourself on the phone as to who you are, as will I. She goes, but I'm going to let you speak and take over. That's fine. I said, you will announce yourself on the phone as present on this phone call. Yes. I said, okay, then dial the number. Right? So,
what's up, Patrice?
You are a pushy bitch, and that's why I love you. We're going to go hanging out dancing, baby. We're going to own the dance floor.
Right, so of course we dial the number, and what do we get? She dials the number on the back of my ID, and it says doo-doo-doo. She goes, you have reached the voicemail of James Thomas McBride. Right, so I go, she's making me speak. I said, hi, James, I'm on the phone with so-and-so from so-and-so. She's dialed the phone. We're in a 3-way call. We were hoping to get you in person to clear up miscommunication that we're having about a presentment that I made to her, and also my documented identity and some sort of confusion about the number I gave her and how to use it. I said, so you can help us. Her number is blah, 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 and you can dial her directly, and verify for her that the number I gave her is valid. And if it's not, can you please help, elucidate the confusion, because I'm not communicating well with her, and I could really use your help. So she goes, okay, that's enough. We're going to hang up. Right? She goes, I'm not in control of the phone call, so I'm waiting for your answering thing to end. I don't have control of the button. She's the one who dialed us in. We're in different locations. So I'm waiting for your answering machine to run out, or for her to come back on the line and announce herself, or to end the phone call, the phone message, and somehow maybe tomorrow or the next day we could all get together again and figure this out. So that would be wonderful. Thanks so much. She's been very helpful, very polite. I really want to work with her. So your intervention would be most appreciated. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, as long as she still has a job after that.
Well,
who knows, I mean, hey, listen.
I don't know. I'm not trying to get her job. I just want the bill.
No.
That's all
I'm just telling.
We have a very, so she gets back on the line. She says, okay, that's enough. She goes, I'm ending this call. I'm ending the recording that you made, and I'm ending the call. And I said, that sounds great. I said, thank you so much for dialing us both in. And I said, when you get the call back from him, I said it would be great for us to, resolve this. So thank you so much for your help and your patience, and we'll go to the next round, tomorrow or Friday or whenever we can all figure it out. She was like, okay, thank you for calling, and thank you for returning my phone call, and thank you, blah, blah, blah. And it was all very polite, nice, and courteous, and that was the end of it. So far.
Yeah, I was going to say my interaction after getting my emergency passport, calling back to the British High Consulate in Ottawa, the gentleman by the name of Page was no longer working there. So it's always
I don't want her to lose her job.
No,
I have zero desires for her to lose her job.
They don't lose their jobs. They just get moved.
Right, that's true. They move. They no longer work here. They're working somewhere else. Right, exactly. They've been transferred or whatever. But that's unnecessary, because she was very careful and concise and considerate, and she was very measured in what she said, and always polite and professional. So I have zero. It was actually a very pleasant exchange. It's just that she's in a tough position, because I know that she's trying to run public pretender interference per her marching orders.
Yeah, I totally get it. And by the way, just so everyone knows, we do have Santo Bonacci on the call now with us. So everybody say hi, Santo. And we have Peter as well. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Santos. Hi, Peter. Hey, Peter. Hey, hi, Peter. I didn't know you were here.
You're right. We didn't know you were there, Peter. We were asking for you all hour.
Yeah, I know, but sweetheart, you've been sucking all the oxygen out of the room. I can't get a word in edgewise.
I just got on the phone.
I know. I'm just busting your chops, sweetheart, because I love you.
Okay.
Somebody got to show you the love.
I know. Kate was reading my story about the equalization office earlier. It was a crack up. I was laughing so hard in the library where I was listening. Okay.
Yes, I think that's the fourth time I've read it. Santo has heard it, Peter's heard it, Tony's heard it. We've all heard it. I'm getting it out because I've got people asking me, what was that thing you read the other day? Oh, okay, well, I'll just read it again. That way, if you go to the last 5 or 6 shows, you're bound to hit one of them.
Right.
I'm just keeping...
Hey, sweetheart, I took your download. I sent it over to Brother Michael for a posting on your beneficial exemption. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Oh, okay, thank you, yeah. Well, there's more documents. I only sent you guys just the one document. I have the 4 documents, which was the equalization, the benevolent exemption thing. I never heard of that, right? So it's not a bank-owned property. That's, what makes this thing a little bit different,
Right.
So, so I'm still trying to figure it out. But, round 5 or 7 or 8, whatever I'm on, and you saw my little Wyoming thing, Peter. Did you get the Wyoming?
Oh, yeah. From Deputy Donuts and Company?
Yeah, that was another one. Yeah.
I got it. I downloaded it to my desk this morning.
You're cracking up, I'm sure, right?
No, I think it was great.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, you're sharing the love, sweetheart. You're sharing the love.
Right, and I will send another thank you letter to the woman who was working with me today to figure out the dyslexia with the numbers. So once we sort that out, I'll thank her for her patience and time in figuring that out. So we thank people for doing a good job and working in honor and you know, getting past the tricksters, you know, the little trickster moves, and you know, ding ding ding, you know.
People need to hear it. They really do. And they need to know that when they're standing in honor, that they have people standing behind them so they don't have to worry about their masters. But her tone changed again, Kate, when I said I accept your oath of office, and you need to not tell me that you can't do it. Because you can do it, and you do it, and so let's start over. Exactly. Now, I had said earlier in the show, now that we have Santo, hey, Santo, if you can give us a quick breakdown on the positioning of the planets and the sun and what have you as it sits right now. And I will ask you to, I posted a link around in the Skype room. Oh, they're running interference hardcore here. Unbelievable. Anyway, if you could listen to at least the last hour of the link that I put up, Santo, I really need you to listen to it. So, anyway, give us a little breakdown. That would be awesome.
Which link is that, Kate?
The link is the one from the Sunki Temple. It was a Two-Spirits the show that Denise does in the afternoon. And Sun was in on the last 45 minutes. You really need to listen to it, okay?
Right.
Everyone needs to listen to it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Sun is simply divine. I've never... we need to hear her more and more, because that's a true mother.
Oh yeah, well when you hear that, you'll understand exactly just how much, because of the documentation she just got from the government of Ireland yesterday. Okay, like we're talking, right at the beginning. What happened yesterday with the solar eclipse and the new moon all happening all in Scorpio, with Mercury retrograde 3 degrees off. Why don't you tell the whole world what's going on in the heavens right now, Santo?
Yeah, well, there were 5 major bodies in Scorpio yesterday. The moon has now left. The moon, she's now in Sagittarius, but yesterday when the eclipse happened, and it's the north node, of course, not the south node, so we're looking at the ascending node, the head of the dragon, and these are the only 2 places where eclipses can happen, but the north node was there along with Mercury retrograding, with the Sun and Saturn. So you've got these 5 major bodies. Now, they were in Scorpio, which is intense emotion, right? So you've got this watery emotion. Now think of your body. Your body's like 90% water. And you can imagine these bodies just lifting your water and just torturing it, because this is a very convoluted energy. So people's emotions were everywhere yesterday, man. I mean...
Yeah.
We saw it, didn't we?
Yeah, in Europe. Right, it's unfolding all over the place in Europe. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean it was there. We lived it, and of course we're working the helm, so it's even more intense with all of us.
Yeah, and those other bodies in the sky, Mercury is mental, the Sun is mental. The Sun rules the left brain, the masculine side, and the Moon was there. She rules the right side. And Saturn, these are more sort of your mental type bodies, these orbs. So you've got mental and emotional, torturing mankind. You saw the war, you saw the what's happening in the Middle East. Man, yesterday was explosive all around the world, privately in people's homes, publicly in world affairs. This was the last doorway out of hell into the 5 or 6 remaining weeks that we have before the Sun eventually reaches the finishing line, flips the switch on all of this negative energy that we've had for a couple of thousand years now. The 5th Sun, the ethereal Sun, will be born again. This is the phoenix rising from the ashes, This is Quetzalcoatl returning. Jesus Christ, whatever name you want to label it, but this is it, man. We better we need to just focus now, because there's only 5 or 6 weeks left till some big shit comes down the pipeline. Really big stuff's coming down the tunnel.
Yeah, just wanted to bring on top of that too, that Obama is going on an emergency trip to Myanmar or Burma, starting on the 17th, which is in 3 days from now. And it is if you look back, Myanmar, that was where the drug laws, worldwide drug laws, were written, and based on some of the stuff. And that's why you guys have got to listen to this. I'm posting it everywhere. It's all over Facebook. That's what I'm doing right now. Make sure you get it. It's in the Skype rooms. I'm going to be sending it out in an email right after this show. If you don't listen to the whole thing, listen to the last hour. Make it a point, because we're dealing, as of yesterday, with where the sun was in the new and the eclipse in the new moon. There's a 15-day window where this is the time of reckoning. This is where we get within, and we better find our compassion. We better find our hearts, because that's by your deeds you shall be known, and your heart and your mind combined are of what and who you are. So I would suggest right now to get those. That's your house. Get it in order. Does that work?
Yeah, get the house in order, guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's not fear, guys. That's the most beautiful thing I can share with you. Listen, this is the moment we've all been working for. This is where we take this game to the next level in a most glorious way. And those of us that have been walking the front lines, and there are millions of us, these are the seeds that were planted. We are coming to our harvest. And I don't want to be harvesting the seeds that others have planted, because, you throw out weeds, you get weeds. And what I suggested today, and I'm going to keep suggesting this on every show, if you can get your hands on some cannabis seeds, grab as many as you can and throw them far and wide. Get those plants growing everywhere. Everywhere. There's a very specific reason. The mitochondria DNA root is in cannabis. That is the tree of life. That's why they've been demonizing it. So plant as many as you get your hands on. Bags and bags of them. Fields everywhere. I don't care. Monsanto can go to hell, personally. I'll tell you what, we'll take over your crops. How's that? Harvest that one. But anyway, that's it's not a coincidence that Obama's got his ass called over to Burma, okay? It's as a direct result of what's going on through Sunky Temple Trust and what is being delivered, what came out of Ireland same day back to Sun with regards to the notices that she has sent. What has happened is the original DNA has been sourced back. The awakening has occurred. Thank you, Sun.
Okay.
It's a beautiful thing.
Rock and roll.
It's a beautiful thing. Like I wish I could explain more. I just listen to the show. You'll get it. You will. It's beautiful.
Yep.
I'm just overwhelmed with it. So when I'm off this show tonight, I do want to listen back to some of it. Because, I just got to hear, Patrice giggling. It just makes my day. But I'm going to go back and listen to...
You wouldn't have been able to tell the story if I was online, because I would have been laughing. You wouldn't have gotten a word out.
I was actually hoping that when I was reading that and you were listening, I was conveying it the way the compassionate heart that you have was going to be conveying it, because it was a beautiful story. I just gave it the love that it was sent in. So, but anyways, Santo, if you can, just a bit more information as far as what people can expect in terms of the as above, so below, what you're seeing from your syncretic perspective.
Yeah, I would be inclined to lose all the fictions right now. Don't be involved in any drama that you don't need to be involved in, and go to your temple. Go to your temple, your throne, and with intent, direct these good cosmic energies to you, because your vibration being at the right loving frequency is what will save the day. Many people who have terrible fear, hatred vibration vibrating in the lower animalistic chakras, they're going to suffer immensely. It'll be horrible. It'll be horrible for these people. You know, all your foot soldiers of the Vatican that go around tasering people for, not paying their fictional fines, for instance.
Right.
People.
Are you saying, Santos? Are you saying that we really need to emphasize self-care right now, to give ourselves a lot of care, because by doing that, it's going to emanate to others?
Yes, Patrice, exactly. Yeah. Because what you do for yourself and what energies you receive into your temple, that will shine out. Let your light shine, and it's not about being lovey-dovey and goody two-shoes and self-righteous. It's not about that at all. It's about common sense and
quiet
just
time and eating good and having quiet time or whatever it is you need in order to refresh.
Yeah, spirit, mind, and body. So body is the food that you put in, the physical food you put in that body. Soul is the emotional content that's coming in. Spirit is the mental. Look after the mental, because these guys are effing with the mental more than anything. Oh yeah, they poison our bodies with vaccines and chemtrails. Yeah, they do the body too. They poison the soul in churches, telling you that you're a dirty, filthy sinner and Satan's, you're serving Satan, Jesus is going to save you because you're incontinent. And then they also go for the mental, because they teach poisonous doctrines that are useless. For instance, here's a quick way to debunk all the churchgoer buffoons, because it's the day to silence the idiot, the moron. And you can do it simply. When they talk about, do you worship Jesus? You might want to remind them that Jesus died at 33. That's why you have 33 bones in your vertebrae, in your vertebra, and where the seed of the oil of your body is planted, the Christ, the true seed, which is called Jesus, in the solar plexus or in the lower chakras, that's at the bottom of the spinal column. That's at the bottom, and then where that oil ascends at the medulla oblongata, just below the optic thalamus, where the oil gets crucified, that's at the 33rd vertebrae. So there you have Jesus ascending, and in his ministry of 33 years, and then he gets killed, and then dies for 3 days, because the fluid remains dormant in the third ventricle at the optic thalamus for 3 days, and then we have liftoff. At the third day, Christ rises. Your pineal gland, rather than secreting melatonin and DMT, it secretes a new fluid, which is called the blood of the Christ, which saves us from our sins. It produces a fluid which reactivates the dormant brain cells, purifies the blood, and we have ascension. So this is why it's crucial that we remain within ourselves, eat the right organic, living, raw foods, that we supply our emotions with good things and good friends, that we mentally look after our minds and our spirits, because that's the way that we're going to raise our vibration and raise the Christ. There's no vicarious redeemer. That's a myth that Rome invented, because Rome is dealing in commerce. So she lies.
Yep.
Well, they're assaulting us right now. They're assaulting us with all this news and craziness, and they're playing games. They're getting trying to get everybody whiplashed into a fear frenzy, and we need to stave that off. We need to retreat. We need to have peace. We need to nurture ourselves, like you're saying, go into a more mindfulness, more tempered, more reflective way to combat so much of this overstimulation that you're talking about, Santos, poisoning our bodies and all that stuff like that. So, this, hopefully we can help each other, remind each other, to stay in peace, stay in honor. Like me talking to that woman today, I was bound and determined to have a very peaceful conversation with her. And so I did, regardless. We were in a very good way. She and I were both communicating. However, I have an objective because that's okay. So please, act in honor, and let's not tell me you don't know what I'm talking about, because you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's about keeping the peace. That's it, nailed. And again, when you can get your mind right, you can get your body right. You are the master. Okay? So regardless of the poisons that we've been hit with, you can nullify that energy just with the thoughts. And I'm not talking believe it, I'm talking know it. Know that you have the power to clean your own cellular structure, and that none of this salting of bullshit that you're getting out there, be it through the air we breathe or the water we drink or whatever, the only way that can affect you is if you believe it will. So let's just decide now, let's get our hearts, minds, and bodies correct. Okay?
Yeah, hey, today they were spraying the living baloney out of us. I mean, massive chemtrails all over Southwest Virginia.
Oh.
Hey, yeah, I don't care. Hey, I'm on sodium bicarbonate, got my salt game going. It's all good. Hey, sweetheart, I'm just rising. That's what I'm doing. It's all good. They can spray away. It's all good. My brother up in Northern Virginia was telling me the same thing. They're spraying. I says, well, hey, you just got to buck up on a little bit more, make your body a little more oxygen rich and put a little more salt, the real salt into you, so your saline gets all regular and your brain synapses actually works and functions just fine.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, guys, at 420, smoke them if you got them. Okay?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, try to get as much cannabis, and I highly recommend juicing, but try to get as much cannabis into you as possible. And again, without getting wasted here, guys. It's about health. It's not about getting stoned. Okay.
I'm doing brownies with my brother in Costa Rica. It's beautiful.
That's exactly what we're talking about here. And this is why they look at the audacity of these people actually claiming that something that grows here, the most important plant on this earth, the tree of life itself, cannabis, and they're making illegal? Oh, please.
Yeah, it's got more medicinal purposes. I've done the research. I'm the doc on the show, and I'll tell you what, I've researched that the oils, the seeds, that they have more fundamental nutrition than you can get from the crap they're feeding you in the sorry ass Wally World and all these other so-called food stores. Those are poison stores, folks. I'm telling you. Hemp has got so many good uses, yet they want to destroy it because it's a control mechanism, just like Codex Alimentarius and all that other crap. So keep doing what you're doing, folks, because we ain't paying attention.
Exactly. And just another little aside here, as much as you can, this is not a preaching thing here, as much as you can, stay away from death eating. That's eating animals. Okay?
Yep.
Part of the cleansing. When you're eating animals, you are acidifying your body, and you're eating the death in every cell that was brought to it. So ask Santo, he'll tell you all about the foods of raw foods. Okay? Eat them with it. The fruits do not harm the tree. They propagate creation by the virtue of you taking from the fruit, eating it, and taking the seeds and planting them. And by the way, I planted a couple of apple trees this year. I feel really, really good, and they're doing well. And you know where I got those seeds? You know where I got those seeds? I brought them out of the 28-day solitary. I brought life out of hell.
Oh, nice.
How cool is that, huh? What do they say? I smuggled 2 trees out, okay?
Oh, my goodness,
That's funny. Yeah. I got away with 2 apple trees. Anyway, there you go. It was, so eat as much live food as you possibly can. Anyway, we got about 8 minutes, guys, so, carry on, wrap it up, and hear your thoughts. I just hear you talking. You guys just making my You're making my life here. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to add to your meat eating point there, Kate. The word animal is Latin for soul. Anima minus the L means soul. When you eat animals, you are eating their souls. You are ingesting the soul of the beast. The beast is a part of you. This is why Pythagoras, Plutarch, Porphyry, Leonardo da Vinci, Einstein, all of the geniuses who ever lived were vegetarian. All of them. Every single... I've got a list. If you want a list, I'll send it to you. Just email me. I've got a beautiful list. All the philosophers that have ever reached the high heavens of the Ram Aries in their ascension have always said, do not eat the animals. They are our brothers. And they look up at us and they think, what the hell are you doing eating us, you idiots? That's why they scream when we slit their throats. They're not just screaming because it's an unrecognizable sound to us intelligent human beings. They are talking to us. They are saying, why are you doing this, you idiots? You've got tomatoes, bananas, apples, potatoes, pumpkins, nuts, and you still have to viciously violate the soul of a living creature which has a fully operative nervous system, fully developed nervous system, red blood flowing through their veins. They have will. Every animal has will. You just try and catch one to kill it and you see its will direct it to run away because it wants to live. Every living thing wants to live. And there's only one sin in the universe, guys, and that is the destruction of energy. No one is allowed to destroy energy. And this is why things like, the elites are doing nuclear bombs and all of this destruction of the earth, they will not be forgiven unless they really, really repent. But that's not likely. So, hallelujah, they'll be swept off the face of this earth, and you'll see it with your own very eyes. I promise you that. I promise you that. You don't need to doubt those words. You will see the removal of the evil one. You will see it.
And I just want to mention right now, because we're going to go. I know we're going to go past the clock here, and actually I want to because a lot of stuff happening.
Oh, we're going to do overdrive.
Yeah,
Yay.
we're going to do overtime. So I don't want anyone to feel pressured to speak here, but I do want to say this. I want to thank the ATRA, freedomreigns.us. I want to making this platform possible for all of us to gather and carry the truth. And thank you for keeping the ship afloat while we sail it merrily down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Outside the Box tonight. This is our regular show, and be advised that when we go past the clock here, and we will, it's 2 minutes and 50 seconds away, you can get the rest of the show on the recording after we're off the air and done with the call. You can download and hear the last however long it goes. It is available. It is recorded. You have to download it, though. Okay, I just wanted to say that so everyone can get their say in. The hell with the clock. I am not gonna be restricted by time any longer. So you guys carry on.
Okay.
And now the silence.
I know everyone's in reflective mode now.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just suggest maybe everybody should get their details out because we've got 2 minutes left and then we can carry on after the show and everybody's information's out there.
Okay, well, you can get the show. Santo, your website quickly.
Mr. Astrotheology. Mr. Astrotheology. YouTube handle.
Okay, Peter.
Yes, privatis.me. privatis.me.
Tony.
Privatis.me. There you go.
Yep. Privatis.me. Tony?
AwakeConsciousawareness.com for the crash course in understanding what's going on. And yourself, Kate?
And you can get my stuff. I hate that. 90 seconds. Anyway, you can get it at Love Over Mind. Sorry. It's crazy. It's in my ears. You don't hear it, do you? Anyway, loveovermind.wordpress.com. And that's where you can get all the information for me and all the links to my YouTube channel, videos, everything, music. It's all there. So there we go. We got our business dealt with. And don't forget, stop by Freedom Reigns, www.freedomreigns.us. And I would urge you all, we're going to have an interim monetary that they've been working out with the Regal Monetary Exchange System. They need some funds to get the thing up and operational that replaces the fiat system as it is. So that's another positive step forward on this bridge to get us to the point where we're finally wise and moral, and we will be gifting instead of using exchange things. But the bridge over. So we need a bridge.
Nice.
Okay, I'm happy. We got 30 seconds on the air, so again, I'll say this will be in the archives, so you will want to download this. And I cut Santo short there, so I want to let Santo rip on here because he was on a tear.
Yeah, let your hair down, guys.
I just want to ask, did we get Kevin Annett?
No, he didn't come.
Yeah, he for whatever he was doing something. He was caught up doing some filming stuff or whatever. And Cindy has been in touch with me with regards to that. So, hey, the invitation for Kevin is open any day of the week that I'm on the air. He already knows that. So we'll get.
Yeah. No, because I was concerned about all the drama of yesterday, and I hope that it just sorts itself out. But a lot of comments that I got from people is, oh, Kevin's arrogant and he's this and he's all of this, and I thought to myself, well, that's personal feelings that have been hurt. What we need to do is focus. Kevin is putting his life on the line, and I'm not saying that he is or isn't arrogant or whatever these people are accusing him of. Right now, he is doing a very dangerous job, man. You cannot be paid by the same people that you are destroying. Anyone who's ever gone after the Vatican has ended up really, really in trouble. Either they've been discredited, reduced to poverty, killed, murdered. Whenever you touch their businesses, any of their commerce, they retaliate with death. And they've got death squads everywhere. Now, we are also living dangerously for the truth that we tell, but we're also protected, and I believe that Kevin is protected. But the thing is, we need to focus here. Whether you like the guy or you don't, it doesn't matter. A lot of people don't like my head when they see me, and they tell me, they say, oh, when I first saw your presentation, I didn't like you, Santos, but then I made myself watch it, and your information's pretty good. Well, doesn't that tell you quite a bit? We are all one person. We are all from the same consciousness. Some people have got ugly heads, some people have got beautiful heads. But some people who've got the ugly heads have got great information. And some people who've got beautiful heads have got heads that are full of shit.
Right, well, I haven't had a chance to write to you, Santos, but I keep meaning to. I have some things I wanted to write to you about. But I was struck by something you said in a recent show, because I was catching up over the weekend and I listened to your Sunday show. And you were talking about how you had taken different actions, and you're like, oh, well, and then you qualified it. You're like, but that was in my angry days. And I'm like, anybody who's not outraged, by what's going on, of course we all have an angry phase. That's part of the awakening. You're like, oh, my God, what's going on? The baby is birthed, and you're screaming at the top of your lungs, being born.
But again, and I want to go back to Kevin as well. I did a lot of interviews. He was going through a lot of stuff. A couple of his friends being murdered, Bingo Dawson and William Coombs.
Wow.
These guys were alive when I was interviewing Kevin. Okay, there are 4 people close to him that have been murdered. Yes, he is walking in divine providence, and it's because of what he is doing, exposing. Regardless of anything he might have that's a personal agenda or whatever, regardless of that, it does not matter. Whatever it takes to motivate the individual to the truth, as in truth, period, is what matters. And Kevin is bringing it to the table, and he is scaring the shit out of them because he's doing it the right way. He's doing it with peace.
Right.
Yeah.
So people who are looking at that and calling that arrogance are mistaking the courage of his convictions and his confidence and the outrage that underlies it and which has transformed him into this light worker. They're mischaracterizing what they see. They don't know what they see. It's not.
Well, I mean, he was a reverend for the United Church, for crying out loud. He's the only one in Canada, actually in the United Church history, to be defrocked publicly. Not only that, they shredded his first wife, his marriage to his first wife, and his two kids, where they were literally ostracized from him. And if memory serves, this is just off the top of my head. I mean, she was paid out $250,000 to go up against him, and they fed her ego, and this was a man that was, at the height of his passion game, doing what he wanted in his life to do, and that is help others as a minister, regardless of what faith. It doesn't matter. The intention was pure, and they literally shredded him. And I don't know about you, but I'd be having a little bit of outrage there too. Hey, listen, I went through it too. They've shredded my family. Okay, they've torn my kids from me. I texted my oldest today, and I got a response. It's their grandmother's 25th anniversary. I'm celebrating her life. She passed over 25 years ago today. But these are the things that we're all going through, and these are the sacrifices. And it's not because, oh, woe is me. No, quite the opposite. Oh, look what the truth costs. Can you actually belly up to this table that's paid for? That's all we're asking.
Right.
We're not asking you to bleed. Many of us already have. We're asking you to not bleed and listen. You know, it's a big difference.
This is the point. I mean, this is the point.
People go through what I've been through. If that's their choice, fine. But I don't know about you, but I don't know how many people would just up and say, you know what? I hope somebody just comes and shreds my family and takes my house and everything I ever knew dear to me, and steal this, steal that, steal there, and then be happy.
Well, you're describing the story of Job. I mean, Santos, what do you know about in your studies, how does the story of Job get translated here? This is what they did to him,
Well, the story of Job is the story of us. And it's metaphorical. You see, Job was supposedly a good man, you see, so and he's the richest man in the world, he's got cattle, he's got all these good things, beautiful 10 children, beautiful wives, servants, and so God convenes an assembly in the heavens, and Satan walks in and he says, hey, what's up? And God says, have you seen Job? And Satan says, yeah. And he says, have you seen how good he is? And he loves me, and he will never falter in serving me and truth and justice. And Satan says, well, that's because he's got all this good shit. Take it away from him, and guess what? He'll curse you to your face. And so God says, go ahead. But he won't, because I know my servants. I know the true ones, my sons, my children of light. Because when you're in the light, you don't go to darkness. It just doesn't happen. And so everything was taken away from him. He was reduced he had boils all over his flesh. His children were murdered and killed. All his livestock was taken away and destroyed in hurricanes. His wife left him and said, why don't you curse God and die? And he turns around and he says, shall I take just the good from God? I enjoyed the good. That was pretty good, wasn't it, when the good was happening? But now, because, see, what it's teaching us is, it's not a real person. This is a metaphor. It's an allegory teaching us a great wisdom that in the cycles of nature, beautiful Isis, unfortunately, has to give us bad with the good, because it's a dualistic physical world. You've got no choice. You've got to have cold with hot. You've got to have black with white. And this contrast, ignoramus buffoons cannot handle, because they just want white. They just want hot. They don't want cold and black, because that's from the devil, and that's evil. And so what it's teaching us is we take the daytime and we take the nighttime. Be prepared for good and bad. One day you'll be rich, one day you'll be poor. If you're a poor person, don't envy the rich, because that's you in another life. And just go with what you've got, because that's your lesson for now. If you've got minus a limb, well, make do with, build a hammer with your right hand. Put the hammer in your right hand and build a house with your right hand, because you haven't got a left one. So we make do with what we've got. And that's the lesson that it teaches us, that we take what the good, gives us. And the good will give us punishment, like we punish our children if they need it to make better children.
Yep.
You know, we'll say, look, you've got to sit in the corner. Time out. You can't play with the other kids. You know, you need to learn. You've abused the rights of the other children. You threw sand in that little kid's face. You stole that toy, and then you abused the other one. You're in the corner. You're punished.
Right.
And kids don't like that.
Adults don't like it.
Yeah, quiet time doesn't sit well with many. And I will say this, one of the things that I need you to know the importance of who and what it is you all are. We are, in our particular solar system, we are the keepers of the divine knowledge. We are the last bastion. We are the Alamo for this universe. This is why all the stargates are closed. This is why Earth has been shut off, so that nothing gets out of here until this is solved. This is literally the war for the tree of knowledge and the tree of life, all in one. So understand now the importance of the role that everyone that's doing what we're doing, and everyone that's listening and doing what they're doing, and passing the message along, is working into a very, very large faction of humanity, and we're waking up. I'm seeing it every day, and we've already won the game. That I know, because I know not one individual in this call right now will yield. Not one.
No, then we won't. As a matter of fact, you know, I faced an extremely cold weekend, and I did okay in my little space. I'm like, I don't know whoever turned my little sleeper into a sauna, you know, but they did, because my little space heater just warmed up the whole place, even though it was single digits and below zero wind chills all of Saturday and Sunday and partly into Monday. It's back now beautiful. Like Santa says, you can't have the cold without the warm. And today it's been a beautiful, sunny, 50-degree in the mountains. The birds were chirping. The sun came shining, and I was, like, happy to be out and about. So, yeah, it comes. But, no, we're not going to yield, Kate. We're not going to give up. They're going to test us. It's the Job allegory test, and we're going to keep sharing our knowledge, and we're going to stand fast, and we're going to say, no, I do not consent.
Yeah. We're all Rosa Parks, and I've been saying it for a very long time. My motto is simple: I stand to, I shall not yield, and none shall pass.
Right. You know, people like say to me, "Patrice, why you do this?" I said, because I was born free, I will die free, and I will live free. And so if, you know, I'm not going to give up and live in this tyranny, and once I'm awake, I'm not going to go back to sleep. I said, so I'm just going to keep going forward, because what are they going to take from me? If they take my life, I die free. So my life was good up until now. I have no regrets, and I'm glad I'm awake. And, I'm glad to be doing what I'm doing, and I've met all you guys, and I'm like, my life has taken a totally different turn, and it's totally opened up, and my mind and my soul and all these things that were building for decades inside of me, it's like they burst open. It's like whatever the breach is of the seed, like you said with the apple trees, or any plant or any life that's planted underground, the sowing, when it bursts or it breaches the earth, it pushes forward. You have this breaching thing that happens, and boom, it bursts, and the green comes, and the growth comes, and you can't stop that. You're not going to stop that.
No, we are a beautiful orchard, and I am humbled and honored to be a part of it. The seeds have broken through the soil. We see the light, and we are now climbing towards it, and nothing is going to stop this. Nothing.
Right. It was all dormant before. There was a lot of dormancy in a lot of us based on what we knew as children, what we went through when we went in hardships, our adult lives. We're going through, like what Santos calls the angry phase, which is the same angry phase that Peter describes in the death. You know, it's like a death. You go through the grief, the death, the anger, the outrage, the acceptance, transformation, and you enter into that space. That angry phase is important. People fear anger, but they shouldn't. There's an adaptive power to anger that can be harnessed, that is transformative, and people must not fear it. They just need to know how to harness it and then redirect it. so that you can move through that fire of the angry phase. That's a normal phase, angry phase.
Yeah, well, I will say I got an email from an individual. Again, there's been a lot of parasites attached to me in a vain attempt to stop me. And one more example of it came in today. There was 2 individuals involved in this, and both of them were very involved in, contacting me or either through Skype, and one in particular, came to my house a number of times, and this is an individual that I've never mentioned before. And the email that I got from him today just proved to me exactly what I knew him to be. And the other entity that hangs out with him is basically one of these guys that's waiting for the Galactic Federation to come and save him and all the rest of it. And all. Long story. Let's just say beautiful plans within the realms, and of course you have to be very wary of everything and everyone around you. Always vigilant, and that's not to be paranoid. There's nothing paranoid about being an observer.
Right.
Seeing things for what they are. It's when you're in that if you get into a paranoid state, that's exactly what they want. With me, it's like, oh well, thank you for showing yourself. Great. Now I know who to steer clear from, and I know exactly why I was intermingled, or you were intermingled with my existence. And and the email, it was. I should forward it to you guys just so you can see how shit I deal with, and the beings that I've had try to stick themselves to me, and where I had to become Teflon. But,
again,
right.
We're all going to
we're all Tony. Yeah.
We're all going to have to watch out for natural law because it's still relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Right. That's real. Right. These attacks are real. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
My friend told me Sunday night she was, the state police said, we're calling you about an incident in your neighborhood. Can you come to the station? We just want to ask you some questions. We're doing an investigation. So she's in a cooperative mindset. She's like, yeah, fine. And I'm like, oh, no, that would have been me a year ago. She's telling me the story. And I'm like, oh, my God, that would have been me totally. Cooperate. Oh, sure, I'll come down. No, she gets there. They handcuff her to the wall. They abuse her. She needs to go to the bathroom. They have her handcuffed to the wall for hours on end. They don't let her have anything to eat or drink or go to the bathroom. She has her period. She's bleeding in her pants. They torment her. They have her handcuffed to the wall. And I'm like, why did they do this to you? I don't understand, right? And they were taking photographs with their cell phones. These are sick. That's how sick these state police are. With their cell phones of her in this condition, laughing at her, mocking her, provoking her. They know she suffers PTSD. She's been viciously, of course, she's a whistleblower. She's been viciously under siege. They took her son. She, went up against some powerful people in the state. But, she has been at peace since the summer and not, engaged, and moved to a new place and was like, I want to be left alone. I'm in peace. Please leave me alone. Not engaging in any of the court stuff or any of that, but she fell for it. And I'm like, oh, my God, if you had known, not to go, do not consent, not participate, all those things. But she's not there yet, and so they continue to torment her. And I'm like, oh, my God, I would have been myself. I would have been equally deceived or tricked into that a year ago at this time. That would have been me. Had I not, awoken and really worked hard to absorb the information, hearing you guys on the radio, hearing, Dean a year ago, hearing James Thomas on the radio, coming to the VP, learning more and more and more, absorbing at lightning speed as fast as I can to get there. So there was a caller, Kate, last week that said, we can't keep up, we don't know the lingo. It's not lingo. I emailed you about that. We need to address that. People feel inadequate or not confident in their words. You're calling Kevin arrogant. People are calling him arrogant, but it's not an arrogance. It's an internalization. And if you can't you do even the smallest thing, memorize some of the things that you can say over and over again. I do not consent. I do not understand. Where's your oath?
Oh yeah. They'll want signatures, but box the sucker in, take it off the page.
Exactly.
It's all good.
Exactly. I did that to my friend on Sunday. They said she had to pay $50. They're not going to let her go unless she pays $50 and signs a bunch of these papers admitting to larceny that she didn't do. She was so upset, crying and upset. She tried to call somebody. She said, I only have $30 in my wallet. She had to call her friend to come and bring $50. They wouldn't let her go. Then they said, you can go to the bathroom, and then they videotaped her going to the bathroom. It's disgusting. These people are bastards. I
Yeah.
with these people.
Hey, Patrice, exactly what Santo said. Listen, these animals, less than animals, I even grade them in my other kindred here, the squirrels, etc. They're getting the golden rule. What they are putting out is exactly what they're getting back. Natural law is master of all. And we're just
right.
I'm honored, and I know you guys are, to be able to stand in that to the degree that we do. And all they're doing now is growing more and more and more, and that's the way it's going to be. So to keep it positive as we finish this off here, this is where we need to be. We just need to be at peace, and we've been through the mill, and we are all the much more wiser for it. And the gratitude I have knows no bounds. And the day will come very shortly where my kids and Sue and everybody else will be able to look at me and go, I guess. I said, well, I didn't need to be right. What I needed was truth. That was all. I don't need to be right.
It's the truth. You're the truth, exactly. And I told my friend on Sunday, I said, Rebecca, I said, that was me 9 months ago when I was in court. I was totally being pushed. I was pushed way too far, pushed over the edge. My nervous system was about to snap. And they finally said to me, well, geez, what is it that you want? What do you want? What is wrong with you? And I screamed, literally. Kate, Tony, Peter, Santos, I screamed. In the halls, I screamed at the top of my lungs, I want the truth told. And walked out. And I was like, okay. I snapped completely. They were all standing there. And I left. I screamed. I was like, that's what I wanted. I couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't take it.
Yeah, it gets that way. You get it. I'm chomping at the bit to get this recording downloaded as quickly as possible. And it takes about 10 minutes after we're finished here. But I just wanted to put out a great thank you guys for making another outside the box. Amazing.
This is another overdrive.
Oh, I suppose that was you guys. I love it.
I was like, oh, goody, we're doing overdrive.
Peter,
hey, tomorrow I got to go get 2 pulled, so I'm going to be a little on the unfunctional side because, the clot, it's got a clot for a minute and whatever, so I should be in the loop for Friday, though. I mean, once you take those gauzes out and whatever, you just saltwater rinse a little bit and treat it. I'll be all right. I'll be a little puffed up, but hey, nobody's gonna see my face anyways. Hey, my face not only be killing you, it'll be killing me.
Peter, we missed you first hour. Yeah.
To keep that nice and comfortable until you get taken care of business. But again, I love you all, and thank you so much for making such a difference in my life. You have no idea.
Thank you, Kate. Hey, we love you too. It's all good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
I think we're all pretty clear tomorrow as far as not having a whole lot going on. Santo, I only have the webinar tomorrow night. I've already told Tony. Thursday's kind of a lax day for us. So good timing, Peter. Good call. If I'm needed anywhere, just give me a holler. If not, I'm going to be researching and digging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, guys.
I'll be Skyping my status report as the day progresses tomorrow. It's going to be a weird day tomorrow.
Okay. Well, we're all in together, and we all get out of this together. So I love you guys.
Okay.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much.
Take care.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thank you. Night, guys. Bye.